Hey, how's it going, guys? So I actually just got some time to think in here. I've been doing work, and I was actually today, this morning, it took me hours. I mean, I'm talking like 3, maybe 4 hours to sit down, force myself to sit down and actually focus. And I did it, and I was finally able to finish the third script in the Remnant series. So we have another film in the Fairhaven world and in the Remnant world coming here soon. So in doing that, I just wanted to make a video here and kind of talk a little bit about the inspiration that went into these films. I have a lot of other projects I'm supposed to be working on and I'm supposed to be editing right now. And for some reason, I just keep coming back to Remnant. I keep coming back to Fairhaven and this immersive world that I'm trying to create. And so, you know, revisiting that story and revisiting, because if you watch Remnant and then if you watch The Founder, they are two different stories, but they are also the same. So like they are telling the big world story of Fairhaven and what happened to Fairhaven, but if you look at the characters and their individual storylines, they're very different. Now, in the third installment, which is going to be titled Finding Starlight, I'm extremely excited to share an even newer story, one that's not, you know, connected to those two characters, those main characters, but that expands even more on the world of Fairhaven. And I know Finding Starlight sounds a little odd, but there's an explanation behind it, and there's a lot of details that are going into that. I don't really want to spoil it myself, so I'll minimize the amount of information I give you here. Don't hate me, please, don't hate me. I promise you it'll be worth the wait. But I mean, I've literally, like, I think it was just last week, I got the idea of Finding Starlight, and I just went on Amazon and started buying a bunch of props and just getting a bunch of shit together that I really didn't need, but I was like, dude, I'm too impatient. Like, I want to get this shit. I want to start working on this project. And I didn't even have a script yet. I was just thinking of the production design and how I wanted everything mapped out and how I wanted everything to look. And so I was like, I just got carried away. I just started like putting shit on my shopping cart, and I'm like, all right, yep, this fits perfect, and then bam, I just ordered it. So like, I have a lot more props, a lot more, you know, action in this, right? This is gonna have one of those Wild West vibes, which really, like, in a sense, I think The Founder had a bit of a Wild West vibe, not very, like, it was a little more of an in-depth story that had to do with like the founders, and I won't spoil it. Like I said, I won't spoil it. But it had a little more to do with the actual story of Fairhaven than the actual like outlawish nature of those that survived after the release of the toxic gas into Fairhaven. And then Remnant was a little more of that Western feel, right? So Finding Starlight is going to be kind of going back to that Western feel, right? It's gonna be a horror, so it's gonna have, you know, some death in it and some frights here and there, just jumps, not even. I don't even consider these films to be like traditional. I won't say traditional, I'll say like modern day horror. I consider them more so to be, I don't know, it depends on your definition of horror, right? Because you could throw it into like 10 different categories that are all considered horror, and some might make it, some might not, you know? And that's what I love about doing horror films, is there's such a broad spectrum that you can operate off of, where you don't have to just have a singular definition of what horror looks like. Clearly, in today's like age, people are talking about scary movies, you know, it scared the crap out of them and everything. When I look at horror, I enjoy more of the, you know, the ambient kind of horror, right? The lingering environment, the music, the storytelling behind the world that the film takes place in. I prefer that, because I could watch a million different films and that were like super scary, and yeah, they'll scare me the first time, but then after that I stopped getting scared, and the whole reason I watched that film was to be scared. Whereas I could come back to a film that focused more on the story, and every time I watch it, I get a little more curious about the world that story takes place in. Because like, when you're looking at world building, and when you're looking at these bigger, you know, more, I would like controversially say ambitious films that focus more on a big world behind the film itself. You know, what I like about those is the fact that you can watch that film and the story is a full story. Like, you'll watch the character go from day one to the end of the film and it feels like a full story and you got everything you needed, but the world is unanswered still, which means there's still room for improvement and there's still room for expansion in that world. And that's what I love to do. I love to do the world building side of things. I like to tell you a story, or at least somewhat of a story, for the characters that are involved in these films, but then I like to be able to build off the background of the world and continue to expand on that. So it's new adventures, but it's not the same characters. It's not the same, and it's in the same world, right? And that's what I think is really exciting about the Remnant film, going into the Founder, now going into Finding Starlight, is that it's something that I can keep expanding on. I just wanted to be able to kind of explain to you what my intent was with Remnant and with this world that I'm building in Fairhaven. I have a lot of ideas to continue to expand that storyline, and I have slashers in the background that I'm working on, different films that I'm planning on coordinating, getting filmed. They're just not in the spotlight for me because I'm extremely passionate about the Remnant world and the Fairhaven world that I'm creating. And the characters in that and the experiences and just, I think in my mind, the potential for expanding that series. And that's kind of what I've been focused on. So I never, ever thought about getting into post-apocalyptic anything. I thought I'd probably do extremely bad at it. However, I've been dabbling in it more and more here with Remnant and the Founder, and now with Finding Starlight. And when I knocked out that script this morning for Finding Starlight, I was actually kind of surprised that it turned out as well as it did, because like when I tell you I had to force myself to sit down and start writing, I had been thinking about the story for the past few days, and actually I would argue probably the past few weeks. But unfortunately, I thought that if I jumped into it and just forced myself to make this script, that it was gonna be really bad. Like, I thought I would just rush it and it wouldn't come naturally to me. But then I also thought, like, the longer I wait, the less likely it is that it's gonna get done and the more lazy I'm gonna get. So I kind of forced myself to sit down, listen to some music, and get honed in and try to make it. And it turned out way different than what I expected it to be. And for anybody who's a writer who's watching these films and my videos, you know that when you're writing, you really don't know how that's gonna go. Like, you sit down with an idea, but then by the time you're done with that script, you're so mind blown at the journey that you just took yourself on that you had no clue that's where it was gonna go. It just took you there. So when I sat down and did this film, or did the script, I was just mind blown with kind of where I took myself with it. And I'm extremely excited for you guys to be able to see it. I'm extremely excited to get the themes and the production design and just the whole feel of this film down, because it's something that I think I would love to watch and have an experience over. And so I'm really excited to see how your guys' experience with it is once I get it finished. I don't have a timeline on when it's gonna get done yet, because I'm about to jump into casting here soon. But I would probably say that I will get casting done and get a filming date within the next 2 to 3 months. So we're maybe looking at, like, what? It's February now, we're going into March. You know, May, June time, maybe sooner. I say that and then I rush myself to do it sooner because I get impatient, right? So it could be even quicker than that. The reason it might take a little longer is because I have a lot of props for this film and a lot of things that I want to get before I jump into it, and that might take some time. But the casting I'm not worried about, because there's a lot of really good talent in the area I'm located in, and I have a lot of actors and actresses that I've been wanting to work with for a while who I know are very good at what they do and they want to tell a story like this. So I won't go any more into this, guys. This is more of a rambling than anything. I just kind of wanted to connect with you guys and let you know where my head's been for the past week. But I promise you, this is going to be a great film. If you've watched my other films, especially those that take place in the Fairhaven world, I think you're going to love this one. And if you haven't seen them yet, please check them out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed if you watch my other films and you follow me. It's a lot of fun. And the stories that I add in here, you know, I don't know, maybe down the road they'll connect. Maybe they'll all come together. That's not really something I've decided on yet, but it's definitely something that I've been pondering for a while. You know, it's something that I've been thinking over the details of how that might happen, or where I want the world to go and the stories individually to go, whether I want them to come together or whether I want to just expand them in different directions. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you guys have seen my Remnant storyline and you are following that series as well as any of my other films, please comment. Let me know what you guys thought about them. I live for your feedback. Like, literally, I don't think you realize how important your feedback is to me. If I don't have that feedback, then it doesn't help me better my craft. It doesn't help me better these stories. And ultimately, it doesn't let me know where you guys really sit at with them. And moving into a next film, if it's worse than the one before, it probably wouldn't have been if I would have had some critique off the front, you know what I mean? And I'm constantly critiquing my own work. Nobody is harder on this stuff than I am, I promise you. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait for you guys to see what's coming up. I'll talk to you soon.